happy life, happy journey. I love saying that. My dear friend and sister and fellow practitioner, Marianne Williams, or Marianne Lewis, excuse me, um, used to say that when she opened up. She's a musical director at Agape, and when she would welcome people to ceremony, she would say, "Happy day, happy life, happy journey," and I just loved that. I thought, "Oh, cool." So I'm stealing it, Marianne. Thank you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Shelly, great to see everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm super excited to tell you that this week is our last week before our regularly scheduled annual break at Rythmia. I'm really excited. We have, hey, Colette, we have 2 weeks planned each year when we get the resort, do some construction, things that we need to do to get things set up and ready for the following, the next 12 months. We're only closed 3 weeks out of the year, 49 weeks out of the year. We are offering and working with and serving ayahuasca and ceremonies during your stay. And there's just something impeccable about this medicine, and about more than just the medicine, about the program at Rythmia, the way things are put together in this container. I hear it every week. People say, this container is amazing. The way everything fits together is well designed, easy, clear, articulated principles, people guiding you. And it's just the resort, everything. It's the conversations that people are having at breakfast and lunch. And it's the time when they're at the pool and when they're getting a massage, and the insight they have during yoga and meditation and breath work, and or running into somebody at the volcanic mud bath, or while you're doing the hot and cold plunge, or in the sauna, or in the saltwater pool, or all of this stuff at Rythmia. These are the whole week is ceremony. It's not just the 4 nights in the Maloka. It's the entire week, and everything put together exactly the way that it is. And trust and believe it's put together exactly the way that it is for a reason. So that's about Rythmia. I like to start every one of these Facebook Lives, Walking the Paths, a little bit about Rythmia, because Rythmia is such a beautiful place, a clearinghouse for the souls. It has been so meaningful to me and so many people, thousands, 12,000 guests. We've had over 12,000 guests. So all thanks to Rythmia. Very grateful for this beautiful place, grateful for Jerry and his vision, grateful for Jeff and his support dealing with Jerry. So, woo, it's a full-time job, baby. All right. So on to the surrender series. So we're talking about surrender. Again, each week we're revisiting this idea of surrender. What is it to surrender? How do we surrender? Surrender is not waving the white flag. Surrender is not giving over to an authority that is greater than you and submitting. Surrender in the spiritual context is the process of allowing. It's the process of allowing life to handle itself without us thinking that we know better. This is surrender. Surrender is acceptance. Surrender is non-resistance. This is surrender. And so there's some things there's some tools. We have some tools that we can use when we declare that we want to surrender, right? It's not going to be easy because it's something outside of our comfort zone. It's way more comfortable to try and assert our will on something. It's way more comfortable to try and control and curate a situation to make it more closer to our pleasing than it is to let things unfold and see what happens, right? Because the latter is unknown, uncertain, right? So when we decide we want to surrender, when we say yes, I'm saying yes to life, I'm surrendering to life, I'm surrendering to God, I'm surrendering to the medicine, I'm surrendering. I just surrender. I give it all up. I'm going to stop fighting. I'm going to drop the rope. I'm going to jump off the hamster wheel. I'm going to just stop resisting. And then you declare that, something's going to happen. And it's not that the universe is testing you. Oh, yeah, you want to surrender? Let me see how, No, it's not that. It's that once you make that declaration, you're going to get all sorts of opportunities to actually surrender. You got to actually do it. Nobody's trying to teach you a lesson or get back at you. So there's some tools to surrender. And so the tools are what we're talking about in this series. The 5 tools of surrender are patience. That's what we're talking about today. Patience, faith, trust, awareness, and meditation. Yes, meditation. That's right. Meditation. Did I say that again? Meditation? Meditation. Meditation. I know. I don't like to meditate. I can't meditate. I can't quiet my mind. Well, that's the point of meditation. I know, but I can't do it. Mm-hmm. How many millions of years have people been meditating, or hundreds of thousands of years, and you're the one? You're that percentage. Okay. Anyway, these are the 5 components of surrender: patience, faith, trust, meditation, and awareness. And so we've talked about faith, we've talked about trust, we talked about awareness, I believe. And number 4 is trust. It is trust. So let's talk about trust. Let's talk about trust. Yes, Shelly, I said meditation. Hi, Sherry. Hi, everybody. Everybody love to have you guys coming and joining us. All right. Patience. Patience is a key component of surrender. I was always confused as a kid. I'd hear the biblical quote, all the years that the locusts have eaten away shall be given back to you. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Like that, like, does God like go back in time and like take you back and you get to it's a do-over? Is that what that means? I get a do-over? Okay, cool. But I never quite, then it just seemed like fantasy, right? It didn't really seem like, it didn't seem real. I certainly didn't believe it because I didn't believe that was going to happen. So what does that mean? All the years that the locusts have eaten away will be given back to you. Well, it means that we have a shift in perspective now, which changes our interpretation of the past. So I thought for many years that my life was wasted. And when am I going to pull my head out of my ass and figure out what I'm supposed to do with my life? And I had done some things that some people might find interesting. I thought they were at the time, but there was no through line. There was no, like, consistency, no singularity of purpose in my life, right? And so here's some of the things I did. I worked for a petroleum company. I imported and exported petroleum products in and out of Mexico. Yes, it was actually petroleum. Just don't like, and then I worked for a rancher in Sonora in northern Mexico, armored car company in Tijuana, Tecate, and Mexicali. Yeah, I know, crazy. Armored car company. I ran my dad's restaurant, nightclubs, salsa nightclub. I was a restaurant manager, general manager, fine dining, casual, food and beverage director. I worked for a short time as a music publicist for Quincy Jones' old music publishing house. And then I ended up being the sales manager at a yacht company in Marina Del Rey, and my office was on a yacht. It was super cool. All those things, like living in Mexico. I taught on the university level at the Universidad de Panamericana and Universidad de Guadalajara in Mexico. I taught English and industrial engineering. I know, crazy. So where's the through line? Right? Like, I kept like, okay, cool. But I'm getting up in age. I was like, this point, I was in my 40s at that time. And I was like, I'm like, any like retirement plan? What's up? Like, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? You can't be flitting around with stuff. So, a friend of mine at that time, I was studying to become a spiritual practitioner. And a friend of mine at that time had called me. She was working down at Rythmia, and she said, hey, we're doing this. We have a clinic on property, and we have a stem cell product that we're selling. And we need somebody to help sell the product, but it's a spiritual retreat center. So it can't be like really salesy, right? It's got to be like a spiritual sales pitch. We need a spiritual closer. And at that time, as I said, I was a sales manager at a yacht company, and I had just finished. I'd been at Agape for 9 years prior to that. And the last 4 of that time, I had been deeply studying and working with Reverend Michael in his office and studying to become a spiritual psychologist, spiritual therapist. And I had just graduated and was sitting for my license and my boards and my orals, right? So I was like, well, if there's a spiritual closer, it's me. That would be me. So I came down to rythmia. And what did I see when I got to rythmia? As I did more than just the stem cell cells, I stepped into many other um, positions and roles at rythmia. And as I did more and more, it was like everything that I had done in the previous 25 years was brought to bear in that moment. I was international business, speaking Spanish, sales, spiritual study and growth. Oh, I did some stand-up comedy, public speaking, speech and debate, study, spiritual growth and development, working with Reverend Michael in his office, managing people. I mean, just like teaching classes, everything that I had done was actually preparation for this now moment. And in that moment, all the years that the locusts have eaten away were given back to me. So nothing changed in the past, but my interpretation of it, my interpretation of the past changed. And so this is where patience is required as we surrender, because I really was like 25 years of when am I going to figure this out? I know I'm going to figure it out one day. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I'm stopping I'm not trying to figure it out anymore. No more trying to figure it out. I am really, and it's a little bit scary, I'm letting things flow. I'm letting myself be led by life. And it's like, oh, things seem to be leading me in this direction. But then my mind's like, no, I got to manage, curate. That's not surrender. So I have to have patience as things are unfolding. And you know, these stories are great, but I always find nature as one of the greatest teachers. I remember Brother Ishmael Teta was the first person that I ever heard say that. He said, nature is my teacher. I was in Ghana and visiting him at his church in Ghana and with Reverend Michael. And he said, nature is our teacher. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I'm seeing more and more how that simple statement is so true. So regarding patience, we can look to nature and we can see that you can't rush the oak tree out of the acorn, and you can't rush the caterpillar or the butterfly out of the chrysalis. Everything has its time. Everything has its place. Everything is unfolding in just the way that it should, with just the right conditions, and exactly as it should, because that's the way it is. I was driving here in Costa Rica, and we live in Guanacaste, which is the cattle region, the cattle country. So it's grasslands, lots of trees and some hills and stuff, little mountains, but the bigger mountains are further in. We're in the grasslands, and we're the flatlands. So there's these big pastures with jungle growing up. All of the pastures have obviously been cleared, right? Jungle all around the perimeter. And in the center of this pasture are these two beautiful giant trees. They're exactly the same tree. One has not one blossom on it. The other is fully in bloom. You know, it's like they're the same tree planted in the same area. One's blooming, one's not. Well, like that's nature. Everything comes to bloom, everything comes to fruition at its time. And as a matter of fact, it has to happen that way. If we came and thought, all right, we're going to make sure this oak tree gets out of this acorn, so I plant the acorn and I keep going back to dig it up to make sure that it's working, it's not going to work, right? If I walk by and I see the butterfly struggling to get, oh, that's my dog. That's my doggy. I was hoping that wasn't going to happen, but it did. That was Paco. So anyway, if we saw the caterpillar or the butterfly struggling to get out of the chrysalis, and we thought we'd help him by taking our little pocket knife and cutting a hole there, we would actually be killing the butterfly, because the butterfly needs to struggle in order to strengthen its wings so it can fly. So in fact, the struggle that we're going through, why we can have patience as we're surrendering, is because the conditions precedent are exactly what is necessary for the next thing within you to emerge. The conditions precedent is exactly what's necessary for whatever's in you that needs to emerge. It's exactly the way it needs to be in exactly the right time. So what I find is that when I try and control things, when I try and adjust it to when I think it should be happening, I tend to mess stuff up, right? I tend to make more trouble for myself than if I just let things unfold. Because the way I think it should be, and the way the timing that I think it should be, and how I think it should unfold, isn't necessarily bad, but it certainly isn't. It's just one possibility, right? It's like, that's what I see. But I only have a certain amount of information. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know, right? There's a lot of stuff I know. There's a lot of stuff I know that I don't know. And there's a greater portion of stuff that I don't know. I don't even know that I don't know about that stuff, right? We all have that greater portion of knowledge that we don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. Okay. So we can, in the midst of the process, when we're getting frustrated, we can bring our awareness to patience as a tool, that everything is unfolding in just the way that it should, based on the conditions precedent, based on the available means, based on the context. So we can practice patience while driving. We can practice patience. I mean, like, how many times you want to like speed around somebody while you're driving is like, and you want to just like dust them because they're going so slow, right? And how could anybody drive that slow, right? And you want them to just see how mad you are by driving by. Yes, I do that. Maybe I'll try practicing patience by just staying behind the person, or I'll just get more pissed. I mean, I'll see how long I can take it. Practice patience. Go behind, drive behind slow moving cars. Or to deny myself something that I want for just a little bit longer. Maybe practice gratification denial for a little bit. Like, I really want that something sweet right now. Maybe I'll have some patience with it. I can practice patience, bring it into my awareness. All right. That is our Facebook Live for today. Always so wonderful to be here. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Lauren and Jonathan and Gwen and Amanda and Anna and MG and all these beautiful people over here, Kelly and Tracy and Yerson and Isoria and Amanda and Eric. Thank you all. Thank you. Hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.